What is up, guys? ThePikaWu here, bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This one was a 4th generation NU tier battle against Dangerous36M, one of the more known Pokemon battlers here on YouTube. So be sure to check out his channel at the end of the battle because he makes really nice battles. Anyways, this happened to be a very intense battle that I had, and the battle ended up being extremely close. And at first I had a really terrible start, and I thought there was like no way I could beat him. But yeah, in the end, it came down to the wire, and will I be able to have a major comeback, or will my crucial mistakes in the beginning destroy my chances of winning? Stay tuned to find out, guys. Enjoy the battle. So guys, I'm going to be leading off with a Gardevoir while my opponent is going to lead off with a Purugly, and this is a really bad matchup for me because I don't want to take a fake out, so I'm going to go into Sandslash because Sandslash can take pretty much any hit from Purugly, and I'm going to predict his switch and go for the Stealth Rocks the next turn, and my opponent's going to make a really risky play and go into his Magmortar because I was actually contemplating between going for Earthquake predicting the taunt or going for the Stealth Rocks, and Earthquake could have decimated that Magmortar really easily. Now, I don't really have anything that can counter a Magmortar, so I decided to go into my own Magmortar just to scout out what type of Magmortar set this is, if it is a Choice Scarf set or a Life Orb set, and this indeed is a Life Orb set, and most Life Orb sets are modest, and looking at that Fire Blast damage, it is modest, so I do lose that speed tie, and he does take down my own Magmortar, and that really sucks. So I go into my Skuntank just to pull off a crunch to do some damage, but he goes into a Sandslash, and usually I set up on Sandslashes, but I just wanted to explode on it because I didn't want to see the Sandslash at this moment. So I went for the explosion right at the bat, and he baited me into that, and he goes into a Haunter, and that really sucks because my Skuntank was pretty much useless, and I pretty much lost all of my momentum at this point. I decided to go into Sandslash because it's the best thing to take a Shadow Ball, but he actually decides to trick me, which is even worse because that's going to limit my my usage of Sandslash, and that really sucks. Now he goes into his own Sandslash, and I'm going to pull off a double switch, and I decide to go into my Porygon 2. And this is where things are actually picking up for me, because I am able to take down that Sandslash with a Stab Tri-Attack, and that was really nice. I didn't want to set up and go for the Agility really early in the game because I haven't really seen all of his Pokemon yet. I think I've only seen 4 or 3 of his Pokemon, so that's why I didn't set up. Now I was praying for the Focus Blast to miss so I can set up an Agility and then take him down with a Tri-Attack, but unfortunately he will hit. But I know my Gardevoir can check his Magmortar because I am max speed timid nature, so I'm just going to go for the Psychic straight away, and he reveals me another Pokemon, his Noctowl, and this, looking at the Psychic damage, is a Special Wall, and I know most Noctowls like to carry Toxic or Hypnosis, so I decided to go for the Safeguard to prevent any status moves, but he actually goes for the Roost, and that's really nice for me because I can lock him into Roost, and then he won't be able to do anything threatening at all. So I'm just going to go for a couple of Psychics to hopefully get a special defense drop or scout if he is going to switch or not, and after the third Psychic, that means that he doesn't really have a safe switch in against a Psychic, so he doesn't have a Dark Pokemon, and that also means he's not going to switch in this turn, so I can switch out, and since he's still locked into Roost, this is a perfect opportunity to go into my Poliwrath and set up a substitute because this is a sub-punching set. And that was really nice because he can't do much, and I'm going to go for the Waterfall just to do some damage, and unfortunately for me it's not quite going to do over half, and it just does a little under half, so Roost is pretty much going to heal up all of his HP back, and that kind of sucks. So I'm just going to go for the Waterfall again because that's the best thing I can do at this point. And I'm kind of hoping for a flinch because Waterfall does have a 20% flinch rate, and he is able to get a Reflect up, and that really sucks because that's going to limit the usage of my Poliwrath because now my attacks are even like less powerful. So I went for the Encore to lock him into the Reflect, but he actually switches out and goes into a Vileplume, and he actually went for this sleep powder, predicting my switch out, but I have a free sub, so I might as well stay and go for the focus punch. But right here, I'm gonna predict him to predict me to go for the encore, so I was predicting him to switch out, and unfortunately he doesn't switch out, which is really weird because he saw that I did carry the encore the last turn, but that kind of sucks for me, and that's gonna force me to switch out, and I decide to switch into my, what is this, my Gardevoir, because that's the thing. I can take a sleep powder from that because I do carry the Lumberry, and that was really nice. Now I go for the safeguard here because in the case that he does go for the sleep power once more, I will be able to negate that sleep. And he actually goes for the Leech Seed, which isn't too bad because that's not really that useful for him because, yeah, it's just not that bad a play, but yeah, I go for the Psychic here just to deal some damage because it's super effective against the Vileplume. It can hit hard onto pretty much anything else he has, and he decides to go into his Noctowl, and Psychic is going to be a solid 2-hit KO, and that is really nice because I am able to take down that Noctowl, and yeah, the Noctowl goes down. He decides to go into a Purugly again, and I don't want to take a U-turn or a fake out, so I go back into my Sandslash because it's a pretty good counter to Purugly. And I'm going to go for the Stone Edge because Stone Edge can hit the Haunter, so in the case that he does predict my Earthquake. And yeah, he goes into a Vileplume again, and I do get a critical hit here. It's pretty much useless because it wasn't game-changing at all. And yeah, it didn't even do that much anyways with the crit, but yeah, he's going to get a Sleep Powder off. And I don't really have anything that can take a sleep powder except for the Sandslash, so I'm going to leave the Sandslash here as sleep fodder. And yeah, things are not really looking good for me because I only have 3 Pokemon left, and I think he has 4 Pokemon left. So I decide to switch out, go into my Gardevoir, because I know Gardevoir can scare out this Vileplume with a super effective stab, Psychic. And he goes for the Leech Seed on this turn, which isn't too bad because Leech Seed isn't really hurting my Gardevoir that much, and Gardevoir has a pretty low amount of HP, so Leech Seed doesn't really recover that much, and he just leaves his Vileplume here as Death Fodder because he knows he has really nothing to take a Psychic. Now he goes back into his Purugly, and I have nothing to take a Fake Out or U-turn except for the Sandslash, so I go right back into my Sandslash, and he turns out and goes into his Haunter, and this really sucks because I know Haunters like to carry the Shadow Ball as well as the Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt will be able to deal super effective damage against my Poliwrath, so this really sucks. I only have 2 Pokemon left, one that gets owned by Shadow Ball and one that gets owned by Thunderbolt, so yeah, that is not looking good for me, but I know I can live a Thunderbolt from a Haunter because it's not life orbed and it's not stabbed, and I do have 370 HP and a really good amount of special defense, and luckily that doesn't do too much to me. Now he goes back into his Magmortar, and this is where he made a kind of bad misplay because had he gone for the Fire Blast, he would have been able to take my Gardevoir down, and if it did hit my Poliwrath, he could take down my Poliwrath with a Body Slam and take my Gardevoir down with a Body Slam as well. But luckily he does go for the safe Thunderbolt, and I am able to take down his Magmortar, and his last Pokemon left is his Purugly, and he will take me down with a Body Slam, but I have a really good chance of living this Body Slam. And unfortunately, he is able to take me down, and he is able to yeah, win the battle. So I hope you liked the battle. It was a really close battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. When I was battling, you know, it was really close. It came down to the wire, and I was even shaking a little bit. So yeah, if you guys liked this battle, it would be really awesome if you just took a couple seconds and just gave this video a thumbs up or left a comment because I really appreciate the support. So this is ThePikaWu. Thank you for watching my battle. Until next time. Wow. Peace out, guys.